Prabhuji. Yes,
Thank
Prabhu,
you
please
very
take over. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyascha tanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namah. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful reading of Srila Prabhupada's Vani and words. It's very apt that Srila Prabhupada talks today about the spiritual master, because we are talking about Adi Guru, Nityananda Prabhu, and his travels to South India. So this is a very divine words and a welcome. And whom else can the letter be sent to? Generally, the letters are sent to, in the olden times, the letters are sent to messengers who will run ahead of the cavalry and give the message to everyone else. And one who is a messenger, they always carry a flag. And here it is Jayapataka Swami whom the letter is being sent to. So he is the flag bearer of this truth, that the spiritual masters will remain always in the material world till the last disciple has caught on to the boat. So this is a very wonderful message. So we segue ourselves to Caitanya Bhagavata. So before we start, we will do the Pranam Mantra, taking the blessings of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, all the Guru Vargas, all wonderful commanders and disciples of Srila Prabhupada and Gaura Bhakta Vrinda and all the Vaishnavas. So let us pay our humble obeisances and seek for the mercy and blessings so that my words can be my purification and it can be an inspiration because it is directly coming from the books of the Acharyas. Nothing belongs to me. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadharam Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkupatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, reading from Caitanya Bhagavata, chapter number 9, text number 129 to 139. We are continuing Nityananda's childhood pastimes and travel to holy places. So before I start reading, there's a humble submission that please forget that you are sitting in your precincts of your house. You're sitting within your house. Try to delve deep into the verses that is being presented here. And through that, let us at least mentally travel to these places which Nityananda Prabhu is traveling. It is said that most of these dhams that Nityananda Prabhu is going to travel, just by imagining or just by mentally sitting at one place and imagining that we are going to travel to these places, it is going to give us the benefit of visiting and taking darshans of the Lord. So we just have to be giving our rapt attention and just wishing that we are witnessing these places, going behind the great Nityananda Prabhu and traveling to these wonderful places. Text 129. So today I see there are a lot of devotees. Anybody who is from Maharashtra or from the place of Lord Vittal. I see Shama Gauri Mataji here. She's there.
Yes,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
So Mataji, I have a special seva for you today in the class. Would you be ready to render that seva to Pandarpur Vittal?
Yeah.
I know you are. Okay. And Mataji, very soon I will let you know the service and you have to help me in this class. Will you be able to do that, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mataji. So let's go to the first verse, text 129. Pampa Bimarathi Gela Satta Godavari Venvatirtha Vipashaya Majjana Achari. Translation. The Lord took bath in Pampa, Bhimarathi, Godavari, Venva, and Vipasa rivers. So the beautiful verse here speaks about Lord Nityananda. After he paid his obeisances to Lord Parashuram, he visited where Ganga flows, Haridwar, the source of Ganges. And after that, he is traveling. And these are the accounts that is given, mentioning about the various places that he visited. So the first place that is being mentioned here is mentioned as Pampa. Now, in modern day geography, when you speak about this Pampa river is generally in Kerala. So there are three major rivers in Kerala. There is Bharatapura. Pura means river in Malayalam. Bharatapura means the great river of India. It's one of the longest rivers. Periyar is another river which is in Kerala. And there is a river called as Pampa. Now this Pampa river is very famous for nowadays in the Kali Yuga as the place of Lord Shabarimala Ayyappan's place. However, there is no reference of such a deity in the Puranas. There is only a Dharma Shastra which is being mentioned. However, this place called as Pampa is not the Pampa river of the modern day Kerala that Nityananda Prabhu visited. He visited the place called as Pampa Sarovara. There is a very beautiful lake called as Pampa Sarovara, which is also mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana, where it comes near Hampi, which is near the Belgaum district. So there, Nityananda Prabhu visited Pampa Sarovara. And this place is very beautiful because besides this place was the kutir or the hermitage of Shabari. And we all know Shabari, who was none other than the disciple of Matanga Rishi. Matanga Rishi, or the sage Matanga, was a great ascetic sage devoted to the bhakti practice. And he mentioned to his disciple, who was Shabari, who was old, that you please stay back here and one day Lord Ramchandra will come and you feed him. And after that, you come back to serve me. Imagine such an instruction given by a spiritual master. The date has not been set. When has not been said. What time has not been mentioned. But one has to perpetually wait for that day when Lord Ram and Lakshman would walk through the pathways of this hermitage near Pampa Sarovara and would walk and come to this hermitage of Shabari. Shabari was so meditative on this instruction of her spiritual master that she used to every day feel that it is today that Lord Rama might come. And when he comes, he should not see dry leaves on the path, because if he sees dry leaves which are fallen on the pathways and there is wild grass, then he might feel there is nobody who stays in this way. So he will take another route. And if he takes another route, my existence is completely nullified. So she every day used to walk in her old age outside her house. She used to clear the grass, pick up the leaves. Even if there are fruits which were falling down, she will pick it up and again stitch it to the branches of the trees so that when Lord Ramchandra comes, he feels that there is a resplendent amount of fruits. There is the trees which are laden with fruits. There are beautiful uh, leaves which are growing, shrubs which are growing. So there seems to be somebody who is a caretaker nearby. In this way, she used to go every time, every day, looking forward. For many years and years, her daily ritual was this. Her daily devotional service was just going outside, ensuring the nature is very welcoming to Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana. She would pick the best of the bare fruits. She would, it's generally said, many people say Shabri gave the eaten bear to Lord Ramchandra. However, that is not the practice. Generally, we do not offer to the Lord anything that is consumed by us first. So the intention behind the poet, when he mentioned about it, is that she would go to the tree, pluck one of the bears, eat it to see whether it is sweet enough. If it is sweet enough, then she will pluck the bears or the fruits of that tree around that bunch, which is the most sweetest. She will collect it and she would feed it to Lord Ramchandra when he comes. So she used to do this collection every day and she used to offer and she used to wait for Lord Ramchandra. So this great place was near Pampa Sarovara. Even today, amongst the mountainous regions of Hampi, you can very beautifully see this fully lotus blossoming lake of Pampa. Lord Ramchandra himself took bath here. And when he visited on that one day, after many, many years, Lord Shabri welcomed and mentioned about Matanga Rishi. Even in Bombay, there is a place called as Matunga. Everybody might have heard about this place. And this Matunga is mentioned about, is the place where once there was this Matanga Rishi's hermitage as well. So anyway, this is a lot of geographical distance between Bombay, the hustle and bustle of Bombay, which was not there back in those days. But Shabri worshipped Lord Ramchandra, and she gave the most sweetest of bears near the Pampa Sarovara. And after that, she took her blessings and she went back to do the service to Matanga Rishi. So this is very beautifully narrated in Valmiki Ramayana. So Nityananda Prabhu is embarking his journey with the first one, which is Pampa. The next one that we speak about is Bhimarati. Now, it is very important that these places we get to know at least a little bit background and history of these places. Today, Bhimarati is also known as Chandrabhaga. And where is this Chandrabhaga river? Can anybody guess? Everybody might be knowing about it. Yesterday only we celebrated Ashadi
Pandarpur.
Ekadashi.
Pandarpur.
Absolutely. So what great fortune we have that yesterday was Ashadi Ekadashi, the most important day of Pandarpur. And today we are following in the footsteps of Nityananda Prabhu and reaching Pandarpur. So now, when we reach Pandarpur, what are we supposed to do? Shama Gopika Mataji is very fond of Vittal. She has told me once. So I'll ask this question to Shama Gopika Mataji. What are we supposed to do, Mataji, if we reach Pandarpur?
First take bath in Chandrabhaga River.
Yeah, Chandrabhaga River. Yes, we should take our dip in the Chandrabhaga River.
Yes.
In fact, the Chandrabhaga River, Lord Vithala feels that it is non-different from Yamuna. He used to have his Bhojan Sthali pastime near Pandarpur, where he used to sit. He used to feed the fishes from his dabba, which Yashoda Maya used to pack and give. And even today, those places are there in Pandarpur, where he used to sit and enjoy these wonderful Bhojan Sthali pastimes. And what is the most favorite food that he used to eat? Though he was in Maharashtra, it is said that he used to eat curd rice very, very nicely. It was tadka with some mustard, with some curry leaves. Yashoda Maya used to make nice curd rice, right? So in the South Indian literature, it is mentioned, and we are mentioning South Indian literature today because we are going to see a very specific version or very specific references of South Indian temples for which we have to take shelter of the South Indian acharyas. So for a second, what I will do is, before we reach Vithala, we have to see what Srila Prabhupada mentions about it. So today, if we look at it in this particular fashion, the first cell, text number 129, is we are going to sit at the lotus feet of Lord Vithala. So let us see for this, what is Srila Prabhupada mentioning. So let's go, Srila Prabhupada Uvacha. I hope you all can see my screen. And here, Srila Prabhupada, in a conversation with Professor Hopkins in July 13, 1975 in Philadelphia, he mentions about Lord Vithala. So let's just read. There are many who feel that, we should stick to poems of so-and-so. We should not look at other Vaishnavas. Here, Srila Prabhupada, let's hear from Prabhupada what he feels about the Vaishnavas who are present. Professor Hopkins asked, Srila Prabhupada, you are not excluding the Pandarpur tradition of Tukaram, Rama Vithoba, Vithala. You are not excluding the Alvas of Ramanuja, but you are saying all of these groups, all of these teachers. Professor Hopkins is asking the question, are you excluding these from Vaishnavas? Prabhupada says, Tukaram accepts Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his guru. Then where is the difference? So if Tukaram is accepted by Srila Prabhupada. So Professor Hopkins asks, so that Lord Vithoba and Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, is the same. And Professor Hopkins confirms, you see as the same? Prabhupada mentions, Vithoba means Vishnu. They call Vithoba, Vithala, Vithoba Rukumai, the husband of Rukmini. Is Vithoba. So Srila Prabhupada is saying Krishna and Vitthal is the same, and we know about this. And Srila Prabhupada is saying we accept them as Vaishnavas. And because they were also followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But today we are going to visit other temples which were sung by Alvars of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. What does Srila Prabhupada speak about them? The conversation continues. In fact, it is one of the most cherished conversations because Srila Prabhupada includes full Vaishnavism in his commentary and his conversation. Professor Hopkins asks, and the Alvars, the Alvars of Tamil Nadu? Prabhupada says, Alvar? Professor Hopkins says, Alvar. Prabhupada says, yes, that is also Vaishnava. So Professor Hopkins asks, would you accept their teachings also, Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada says, oh yes. So when Prabhupada accepts the teachings of the Alvars, when Prabhupada accepts the teachings of Tukaram, it is generally, we should say that we should follow in his footsteps, and we should also accept the teachings of these great Vaishnavas because they are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are followers. Sri Tukaram is a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is only apt that when you reach a pastime place, you should see the pastime place through the eyes of the devotees who reside in that pastime. So for this, I would like to take you to a specific task, which is today we have to get our tools ready. We are going on a burglary mission. We are going to steal a city known as Pandarpur. And today my accomplice for this mission is Her Grace Shamagori Mataji. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a manual which is given by Tukaram Maharaj, what he says and how we should steal and what we should do when we reach Pandarpur. The ask from Her Grace Shamagori Mataji is, Mataji, after every line that I sing, because it is Marathi and it is an abhang, I would like you to just repeat. It is a very simple bhajan, but so I would like you to repeat. Would you repeat, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So it's a very 4-line bhajan or an abhang, And this is called as Veda Veda Re Pandhari. And we will learn the meaning also. But
Yeah, can
yeah,
I sing, Prabhu?
yeah, definitely, Mataji. But in which tune?
Veda Veda Re Pandari मूर्छेवला भीमातीरी चला चला संत जन करू देवासी भांडण लुटा लुटा पंढरपूर दारा रुक्माईचा वर तुका म्हणे चला चला घावनी शाणी गातला.
Jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the war cry, for making us sang very beautifully. The love to Vithal is very wonderfully seen. Mataji, but I would like you to sing it in one more way.
Okay.
Because this is an ask to go and loot Pandarpur. If you ask so lovingly, Mataji, who will go and loot Pandarpur? You need to gather the masses. You need to really pump up the people to go and loot Pandarpur. So, Mataji, will you be ready to sing it in a different tune?
No, you sing,
Okay.
Prabhu. I don't know different tune.
You can repeat, Mataji. You are
Yes,
our commander now.
I will repeat.
Veda Veda Re Pandari.
वेडा वेडा रे पंढरी
मोर्चे वेला भीमातरी.
मूर्छेवला भीमातीरी
चला चला संत जना.
चला चला संत जन
चला 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 संत जना.
चला 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 संत जन
चला 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 संत जना.
चला 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 संत जन
करू देवासी भांडण.
करू देवाशी भांडण
लुटा लुटा पंढरपूर.
लुटा लुटा पंढरपूर
लुटा 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 पंढरपूर.
लुटा 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 पंढरपूर
लुटा लुटा पंढरपूर.
लुटा लुटा पंढरपूर
दार रुक्माईच्या वर.
धरा रुक्माईचा वर
धरा रुक्माईच्या वर.
धरा रुक्माईचा वर
तुका म्हणे चला चला.
तुका म्हणे चला चला
तुका म्हणे म्हणे चला चला.
तुका म्हणे म्हणे चला चला
घाव निशानी घातक.
घाव निशानी घातक
वेडा वेडा रे पंढरी.
वेडा वेडा रे पंढरी.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So Tukaram is saying Veda Veda Re Pandari. Veda means let's go and let's loot this place. So what is Tukaram saying? Veda Veda Re Pandari Morche Vala Bhimatari. So Bhimatari, Bhimarati, the river is nothing but Bhimatari means the Bhima river. Let's go and surround this place called Bhimarati. Let's stand half full in Chandrabhaga with full stands ready. What are we supposed to do? Chala Chala Sant Jana, all the saints, all of you, all devotees, let us go. Let us walk. Chala 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 Sant Jana. Let's go walking and let's reach to this place called Bhimarathi. Let's stand amidst this Bhimarathi river. But what are you supposed to do? Karu Devasi Bhandana. So you are supposed to attack and you are supposed to take your aim and your target is, who is your target? Suppose we take the aim, but somebody needs to be the target. Who is your target? He is that Lord who is the husband of Rukmani. Dhara Rukumai Chavara. Vara means the husband, the groom. The groom of Rukmani, who is the bride of the entire cosmic manifestation. She is the Jagan Mata. She is the goddess of fortune. Rukmani's groom, who is none other than Dwarkadish, who is none other than Lord Vithal. To him, we should keep our aim. Tukamane chala chala. The aim has been set now. Now don't sit back. Now don't sit back and relax and twiddle your thumbs. Move, move, move. Now this is a war cry. This is a war cry with an intention to say, let's go, let's go, let's go. There is no minute to waste. So this is what Sant Tukaram says, "O noble persons, go to Pandari." Pandari means the city of Pandarinath. Surround it. Keep your position in the banks of Bhima river. Attack Pandarinath and loot Lord Pandurang,
Yes.
the husband of Rukmini. The aim has been set. So let's go. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move. So in this way, Nityananda Prabhu is
Prabhuji.
carrying. Yes.
घाव निशाणी घातलं last.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
So if you have bow and arrows, the arrow has gone directly to the point. Nishan. Nishan means like, they have this round and the right in the middle. There you have to shoot the arrow. So where they shoot the arrow to the Pandarinath.
Yes, so the lotus feet of Lord Pandarinath, that's the bullseye that we have to hit. And once we hit that bullseye, we will ensure that we are going back home, back to Godhead. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for leading the troops to Pandarpur and helping us loot Pandarinath. So this is what he is mentioning. So Lord Nityananda took bath in Pampa Sarovara, then he went and saw Lord Pandarinath. Of course, we are moving ahead fast because we have so many places to cover today. And then he went to Godavari. So Godavari, we take her name every day while we touch the Achaman cup. What's the shloka that we say? Gange cha Yamune cheva Godavari Saraswati Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidim Kuru. So all the waters, please assemble in this Achaman cup and we touch with the help of our Gayatri thread and we purify the water before we do the Achaman. And we also say this while taking bath, Gange cha Yamune cheva, all the waters please be present so that I can take bath, and we should say at least Ganga, Ganga, Ganga when we actually take bath. So Godavari is generally seen, is seen as the river which purifies. But there was a moment when she actually lost the capability of purification. And this is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. When Mother Sita was lost, in fact not lost, was kidnapped by Ravana, Lord Ramchandra was going hither, asking each and every one, where is Mother Sita? He was asking all living entities, he was asking all trees, because he was in deep separation from Mother Sita. In fact, when he asked the deers, which used to be cajoled and taken care very nicely, the dawns, the fawns, the does, everyone was taken care by Mother Sita while she was living in the hermitage and in the thatched roof that Lakshmana had constructed. So when she was kidnapped and she was not to be seen, Lord Ramchandra went to the trees and asked, have you seen Mother Sita? But the trees cannot say that, but they utilize their capability. They utilize their capability of indicating which way Mother Sita would have gone. How do they indicate? When the winds blow, they show their branches to the way where Mother Sita has been taken towards south. When the deers were asked, do you know where Mother Sita was taken? They would stand up and look southwards, and they will constantly move their heads southwards. Lord Ramchandra used to feel, they're trying to tell me, but I am not able to hear what they are trying to say. So once he came to river Godavari and he asked this question to Godavari, Godavari, please tell me, can you please tell me which way has Mother Sita gone? Where is she? Now Godavari is a river. Now somebody can say, how can rivers speak, Prabhuji? How is this possible? Rivers can speak or what? This is not at all possible. So how can rivers speak?
Water could move. The water could move.
Yes.
Way.
What can move? Water can move and show the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. So the water is supposed to move and show the way. This is how waters or rivers tell that this is where it is going. But Godavari was very afraid of Ravana. She never moved. She never said a word. And when she did not assist Lord Ramchandra in his mission to find Sita back, he lost all her auspiciousness. But then we say, Prabhuji, we say every day in Achaman Cup, Godavari, Saraswati. So the Acharyas comment, because in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, there was one lady who took the name of Goda. She was none other than Andal, also known as Goda Devi. She was known as the 12th Alvar because she shared her name and she became the wife of Lord Ranganath, whom we will see at the end of the class today. Because she took the name of Goda, Godavari got her auspiciousness back. So that is Godavari. In fact, it is said that our existence should be always to serve the Lord and his mission. So Godavari was such a great river where Lord Ramchandra and Sita had many pastimes, and Godavari was visited by Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Then he went to Venva river. This
Hi,
Venva river, yes,
I'm sorry to disturb you. You were saying the river cannot speak, but the river has a personified deity, right? So
yes,
why can't the deity come and speak?
yes, the deity can come and speak, but the Lord Ramchandra was in the mood of Atmanam, the Manushyanam, Dasharathatmajam. I am the son of Dasharatha. Atmanam Manusham Manye Aham Dasharathatmajam. This is the shloka he says in Yuddha Kanda when it is going to end. When all the gods and demigods and everybody comes and pays obeisances and says, you are Lord Ramchandra, you are supposed to be victorious. He says, Atmanam Manusham Manye. I am none other than the son of Dasharatha. Because it was a condition that he would play the part of a human being. He will exactly execute the part of being a human being. So if the goddess Godavari appears, Lord Ramchandra would have not accepted. He would have shown it with his eyes. You please go back. You will break my character, this play, this drama, which is happening very nicely. You will break. Though he himself breaks it at many places, which we have discussed, but he would not like anybody else to come and disturb. So yes, Godavari can definitely would have spoken, but here in this case, she did not speak. Neither she showed her way. So both did not happen. So she lost her auspiciousness. And she gained back because Goda Devi was one of the personalities who came and glorified the Lord. And Godavari got back her auspiciousness, says the Sri Vaishnava Acharyas. Venva is another river. It is called as the Venna River, which is today 130 kilometers traveling in Maharashtra again. It is coming from Mahabaleshwar to, this is also known as a pious river, one of the largest rivers within India. And then suddenly the geography shifts to Vipasa River. Vipasa rivers is the Bias or Jhelum, which is also called as the Hippasis in Greek. And if anybody follows history, this river is quite famous as the river which flows between Pakistan's Punjab province and India. And this is where the great battle of Hidipsis took place between Alexander the Great and Porus or Porurava, it is known as. And we all know that the histories are twisted. People say Alexander defeated the king, Indian king Porus, though it is just a European historical recount. It never happened so. It was a truce which was called between both the parties, and Alexander was so astonished by Pururava the king and his noblest tradition of Sanatana Dharma that he gave back the entire kingdom of Purus and also the kingdom of Takshila to him, and he went back to Mediterranean or Bactria or Bactria, as we call it as Alexander. So this Vipasa river is nothing but Bias and Jhelum, where the Harappa civilizations and the Indus Valley civilizations started. In fact, beyond this place, where the Hindus, and hence they used to call it as Hindu, Mahasagar, and next to the Indian Ocean, and Sindhu rivers are the people who live as Hindus. So Vipasa is Jhelum and Bias on the northern side. So Nityananda Prabhu went to all the rivers, took bath, all the lakes and took bath. And slowly he comes to none other than the other location. So he moves on. So as Nityananda Prabhu moves on, let's also move on to the next verse where he reaches another beautiful place. I will read these 4 verses together because this is all worshipping about one particular place, which is Sri Shailam and Madurai. So let's lead this. Kartika dekhiya Nityananda Mahamati Shri Parvata Yelayata Mahesha Parvati. After seeing Kartikeya at Madurai, which is also called as Dakshina Madura, the southern Madura. Madura means very sweet. So Dakshina Madura is called as Madurai. The most intelligent Nityananda went to Sri Shaila, the abode of Shiva and Parvati. Then it says, Brahmana Brahmani Rupe Mahesha Parvati Shri Sri Parvate Dono He Karene Vasati. Shiva and Parvati reside on this mountain in the form of a Brahmana couple. What do they do there? Nija Ishta Deva Chini Lena Dui Jana Avaduta Rupa Kareti Prayartana. Upon Nityananda's arrival there, they understood that their worshipable Lord was wandering on pilgrimage as a mendicant. So they saw that Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is their worshipable Lord, as Sankarshan, and he is going like a vagabond, like a mendicant from one place to another. And hence, when a mendicant comes to your doorstep, when a great guest comes to your doorstep, you have to give them asan, you have to give them good words, and you have to feed them prasad. So this is what Parvati Devi did. Parama Santosha Dona He Atithi Dekhiya Paka Kari Lena Devi Harshita Haya. They were most satisfied to receive such a guest, and Parvati happily cooked for the Lord. Paramadare Bhiksha Dilena Prabhure Hashi Nityananda Done Kare Namaskare. They fed the Lord with great affection, and Nityananda smiled and offered him their respects. And then to 135, Kiyantara Kata Haila Krishna Se Janena Tabe Nityananda Prabhu Dravide Gelena. And then they say they spoke within themselves something, and only Krishna understands what was being discussed. This is very esoteric subject matter which was being discussed by Lord Shiva and Lord Nityananda. And here he mentions that I do not know what was being discussed. Only Krishna knows what was being discussed. And then he continued his journey to Dravida or South India. So what is this place? This place is called as Sri Shailam. So to know about this place, let us go to Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is the transcendental ambassador who takes us to these places. And Sri Shailam, about Sri Shailam, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, there is a beautiful temple of Sri Shailam in the place of Sri Shailam, which is called as the Mallika Arjuna temple. So this Mallika Arjuna temple, Mallika means the Mallika flowers, which is the jasmine flowers. The Lord was found amongst the creepers of the jasmine flower, so he is known as the Mallika Arjuna. So let us read from Srila Prabhupada what he mentions in this text. So just give me a minute. Let me just share my screen, and we will see. Okay, let us. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also visits these places. So let's just quickly see. Paramananda Puri Tabe Chalila Nila Chale Mahaprabhu Chali Chali Aila Shri Shale. Thus Paramananda Puri started for Jagannath Puri, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began walking towards Sri Shaila. And let's talk about what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks. Which Sri Shaila is being indicated by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is not clearly understood. There is no temple of Mallika Arjuna in this area because the Sri Shaila located is in the district of Dharwad and cannot possibly be there. That Sri Shaila is on the southern side of Belgaum, and the Shiva temple of Mallika Arjuna is located there. Refer to text 15 of this chapter. It is said that the hill of Lord Shiva lived with Devi Parvati, and Lord Brahma lived there with all the demigods. And it says, Shiva Durga Rahe Tahan Brahmenera Veshe, same as what is being mentioned here. They both lived as a Brahmana and a Brahmani. Mahaprabhu Dekhi Dona Hara Haila Ullase. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also following in the footsteps what Nityananda Prabhu took, he also went and visited Sri Shaila. It was in Sri Shaila that Lord Shiva and his wife Durga lived in the dress of Brahmanas. When they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they became very much pleased. Lord Shiva, dressed like a Brahmana, gave alms to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and invited him to spend 3 days in a solitary place. sitting together, they talked very confident. So what is that they would have talked? They would have talked about how Nityananda Prabhu and what talks that they would have had when Nityananda Prabhu came and met them. So they had all these conversations, and this was in Sri Shailam. It is also mentioned that before reaching Sri Shailam, the Lord also reached this place called as place which is called as Tiruparakundram, which is in Madurai. Now it is one of the Skanda Kshetras. Skanda Kshetra means Skanda is Kartikeya. Kartikeya has 6 major temples that he has, and it is all in Tamil Nadu, like Tiruparakundram, Tiruchendur, Palani, Swami Malai, Payamudrichalai, Tirutani. Generally, these places Vaishnavas don't go. These are the Shaivites places where they go as per Skandas. But these are the 6 places that is for Skandas, Mahatma. And the first place is Tiruparakundram. Why Kartikeya is there and not there with Shiva and Parvati in Sri Shailam? Because in Sri Shailam, they married off Ganesha. And because he did not get married, the parents actually married off Ganesha and did not marry off their other son. Angrily, he went to this place called as Tiruparakundram, where he got married with Indra's daughter, who is none other than Devayani. So that is another charitra. But Nityananda Mahaprabhu goes and visits Kartikeya, the commander-in-chief, and he takes the august presence of Kartikeya there. And then he travels to Sri Shaila. And in Sri Shaila, before he goes there, he also visits this place called Madurai. Now, Madurai is very famous for one temple, which is Madura Meenakshi. Meenakshi is none other than Goddess Parvati, and she is the wife of Lord Shiva. She is also the sister of Lord Vishnu, because we all know that in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, she appears as Yogamaya, and thereby she is known as the sister of Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sute Kali, Vasudeva Sahodari, it is being mentioned. Vasudeva Sute Kali, she is a Vasudeva Sutta. She is also seen as the sister of Lord Vishnu. In fact, even in the Lalita Sahasranamam, in the 280th name, she is very clearly mentioned as Padmanabha Sahodari or Hari Sodari. So these are names that is given to her. Padmanabha Sahodari means she is the sister, or she is the sister of Padmanabha, who is none other than Lord Vishnu. So all these places was visited by Nityananda Prabhu, and now he is traveling to the most 2 beautiful places that everybody would like to visit. So we won't spend a lot of time in the Shaivite places. We will move towards the Vaishnavite places where the Vaishnava Rasa is the most wonderful. So let us go to the place where everybody wants to go. It is none other than the beautiful place of Venkatachala, which is none other than Lord Tirupati Balaji. But before that, let's just read the 133rd word. Parama Santosha Done Atithi. So we read this, and finally he traveled to Dravida Desha or South India, and now he is visited. Dekhiya Venkata Nata Kamo Koshti Puri Kanchigiya Saridwara Gelena Kaveri. The Lord visited Venkata Natha, who is none other than Lord of Tirumala. Kama Koshti Puri, even today, Puri Kanchi Kama Koshti is a Shaivite place, the central Pitha, just like Ahobila Matha for the Sri Vaishnavas. It's also the Shaivite centralite place, Kama Koshti, and it's also Kanchi. Kanchi is none other than Varadaraja Kanchipuram, and Kaveri, known as the best of the rivers. Kaveri is being called as Saridwara. Saridwara is an adjective of Kaveri. So who is Kaveri and what is her relationship with the Lord? This is something that we should generally see. So for that, I would like to first mention about Kaveri before we move into the Lord of Tirumala, because it is very important that we see who is Kaveri, because that gives us a segue to the next place, which is Ranganatha or Srirangam, where Kaveri is the most important one. So let's just see in one of the shlokas in Paduka Sahasram, it is mentioned, Prayena Sahya Duturana Duti Pura Nada Arja Kanya Jamatur Agamanas Uchan Miham Ana Manju Prana Dhasu Bhagira Manipaduketva Mantara Itamakruta Yud Tatra Kanta Khandalaha. This is a very difficult verse. Not an expert in Sanskrit to find a meter, but Vedanta Deshika mentions in a very beautiful way who is Kaveri. He is saying Kaveri is none other than the mother-in-law of Lord Ranganatha. Now you might ask, how is Kaveri the mother-in-law of Lord Ranganatha? This doesn't make sense. So he explains how she is the mother-in-law of Lord Ranganatha. How he explains? He says, the daughter of, and let's analyze this before we see the shloka, otherwise it becomes difficult. So who is the daughter of the sea? Who is the daughter of the sea?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi is the daughter of the sea. And where is the Lord lying down?
Shirasagar.
Shirasagar. It is also a sagar. It's also an ocean. So is the Lord in his separate house or he is in Sasural? He is in in-laws house.
Separate house.
Not separate house. In his
In his own
in-laws
house.
house.
In-laws.
No, in-laws house. So the Lord is saying there is no problem. Lord himself is staying in in-laws house. So any Prabhu saying we should live separately, they should take inspiration from Vishnu. All Matajis will be happy. Prabhu, today we are going back to our in-laws house. Anyway, so this is the Lord. The Lord is so merciful that he is staying in Sagara and he is taking the blessings. In fact, he is taking the service from Mother Lakshmi. So here, Vedanta Deshika very beautifully says, Kaveri is the mother-in-law. How? If river, all the river waters go and mix into the ocean. So the rivers are wives of the sea, isn't it? And if the sea is the father, river is the mother, the daughter is established as Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the daughter and the river Kaveri is the mother of Lakshmi. And it is also seen as the father is none other than the ocean. Now, but what is that he is trying to say? He's trying to say that sometimes the mother-in-law wants to see the daughter and the son-in-law together at one place and feel extremely happy. So Kaveri also is starting from Talak Kaveri, which is in Karnataka. She's slowly starting from there, slowly she is coming. And she knows that she has to come to a place called Srirangam, where Lord Ranganatha is the son-in-law, who is the Mahavishnu, who has accepted the hand of her daughter, of her husband, who is Ocean King's daughter, who is none other than Lakshmi. So she's coming slowly to take darshan. And when she is coming slowly at Hoganakal, and if you all been to Karnataka, in Hoganakal, there is a big falls, Hoganakal Falls. And the Acharya says that the river is taking extremely happy steps ahead because she is going to reach near Srirangam. And she is coming there, taking a huge waterfall, jumping herself. She is reaching this place of Srirangam. But as soon as she sees her daughter, who is Lakshmi herself, Ranganayaki, and also sees the beautiful Ranganatha, her heart skips a beat. She wants to now embrace the Lord and her son-in-law and the daughter together. So she splits herself and creates this valley. And in between the valley is the beautiful temple of Srirangam. So how does the river split? It is nothing but its arms, which is trying to embrace the Lord, says beautiful Vedanta Deshika. He also mentions that when her son-in-law, who is none other than Lord Ranganath, when he walks and comes and takes a dip and he puts his padukas inside Kaveri, Lakshmi has put very small gems and ankle bells on the lotus padukas of Ranganath. And when those gems tinkle, the mother-in-law gets very alerted. Oh, my son-in-law is coming. I should start. So the daughter is very careful. She says, my mother should not be caught off guard. So she keeps the gems on the padukas of Lord Ranganath. And when he comes, the gems and the bells starts ringing. And then Kaveri knows now the son-in-law has come. And so she is ready to welcome him. But the real meaning is the greatness of Vedanta Deshika, you should see. What is he trying to say? He is trying to say, all of us as jivas, as the eternal living entities, part and parcel of the Lord, we have turned our face away from Krishna. And we are suffering due to that. But when we are coming closer, and who is seen as the Padukas? The Padukas are none other than the spiritual masters. The spiritual masters are the one who is showing us the way to the lotus feet. Because the Padukas are on below the lotus feet. So the Acharyas are showing us the lotus feet. And they have these ankle bells and gems on them. What is the gem? The gem of bhakti, the gem of jnana, the gem of kirtana, the gem of holy names. So they are adorned to the acharyas so that they tinkle and they tell us, here is where the lotus feet is. And we can't go to them because the Lord will not take care of us. The mother, who is none other than Lakshmi, she bestows this to the acharyas. And the mother-in-law Kaveri, she wipes our sins, and then we attain the lotus feet of the Lord. This is the greatness of the poets. In one verse, they will write 100 meanings. This is one of the poems, one of the verses talking out of the 1008 that he wrote, glorifying the Padukas of Lord Ranganatha. The Lord Ranganatha is so great, which he worships through his verses, which Nityananda Prabhu saw after visiting none other than Lord of Tirumala, which is Balaji, and also visiting other places like Kamakoshti and Kanchi. He went to Ranganath. Ranganath is a place of worship for time immemorial. It is the personal deities of the Ikshwaku kings of Lord Ramchandra, of the Lord Rama's dynasty. It was worshipped before by Brahma, it was given to Ishwaku, and subsequently it was worshipped by Lord Ramchandra himself. In fact, Vashishta, when he says to Mother Sita that you please go with Lord Ramchandra, tomorrow is his coronation, go with Ramchandra, sleep outside the temple. Now this Srirangam temple was originally in Ayodhya, and Lord Ramchandra was worshipping these deities in Ayodhya. So Vashishta used to tell Sita and Ram, you please go and sleep outside the temple, and the next day you worship. Sahapatni Vishalakshyam, says Valmiki. Valmiki uses the word Vishala Akshi, the great-eyed Mother Sita. They both and went. Why was she called as great-eyed? Because she is from the Nepal area, and generally we know we should not be talking about bodily features, but Nepal women generally they have small eyes, but here it is mentioned Vishala Akshi. She has large eyes because she was astonished by the way Lord Ramchandra was worshipping Lord Ranganatha. Generally in the worship you see you have to strike a bell and also do the Harati together. Generally some pujaris, they are not ambidextrous. This will not move and this will not move together. Either they will ring the bell, either they will move this in circles, or they will move the bell in circles and keep this stationary. But actually, this should be stationary and this should move. Both should happen simultaneously. And this was being done by Lord Ramchandra in a very beautiful way. And seeing the way Lord Rama was worshipping himself, who is Lord Ranganatha, and seeing that, she was very astonished and her eyes became large and she was surprised. So Valmiki captures that selfie at that moment and writes, Sahapatni Sa Vishalakshi. So he writes there, Vishala Akshi. Such is the Lord Ranganath. And Nityananda Prabhu, with his beautiful eyes, he took the darshan of Lord Ranganath. He took the darshan of none other than Tirumala Balaji, whom we did not have much time to speak about because we have ran out of time. But nevertheless, we will just speak one verse on Tirumala, and we will, Tirumala Balaji or Venkatanatha, or called as Tirupati. We will close this uh, uh, chapter on his travels to Dravida Desha. Of course, other speakers can take it forward. Aham dur adaste padamboja yugmam pranamhecha yagatya sevam karomi sakrit seva yatya seva phalam tham prayacha prayacha prabhu venkatesha. This particular verse is in the Venkatesha Stotra. Many people would have heard it in the early mornings when it is being chanted across the Dravida Desha. It says, Aham dur adaste padamboja yugmam. O Lord, having come from far with a desire to salute unto your lotus feet. That is the desire, and I have come from far. Aham dur adaste padamboja yugmam. Pranammecha yagatya sevam karomi. I would like to constantly perform my service. Right? Sakrit sevaya nitya seva phalantam. And my only desire is to render again and again this worship unto your lotus feet. Prayacha prayacha prabhu venkatesha. Please give me this reward of constantly glorifying you, constantly serving you, and constantly taking care of you. And this is my only desire, to always render service unto these wonderful Vaishnavite temples which Lord Nityananda visited. So we all had visited these temples mentally, at least, I hope, when we are discussing about it, traveling in the paths, and we all get the beautiful merits of visiting these temples. But because we are celebrating Aurav's birthday today, it is our duty to give the gift. So we should pack all the merits of all the Divyadeshams and beautiful things that we have visited. We pack it in the core of our hearts and we submit to Aurav, and we wish that he or she grows up. She grows up, I guess. It's a she, right? If I'm not wrong. No, it's a he. So he grows up and he glorifies these places with a beautiful musical instrument and goes to all the places and glorifies to all the Vaishnavas across all different cosmic manifestations. This is the prayer we should have, glories we should have, and we should give this gift to Aurav today. Thank you for calling me. And because it is Tirumala, I should end by saying that in spite of yadastras kalitam kinchit vidvamsat purayantu tat yadastras saushtumam kinchit tat purore menahi. But there is a verse in the Venkatesha Prabhatam which says, Ajnanina maya doshan asheshan vihitan hare shamastatswam shesha shaila shikhamani. O Hari, the crushed jewel of Shesha Shaila, pardon me for all the sins committed by me, because I am an ignorant and I could have committed many sins. But if you would have found anything that is good, all glories goes to my spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very grateful. Thank you for gracing us by your presence in all the places which I personally haven't visited, but by your wonderful narration, almost there. And by your blessing, maybe someday we'll visit in person. And thank you so much for your wishes for Aurav. Only one desire that I have is that may he remain devotee no matter what he becomes. That's all my desire. And serve Srila Prabhupada. That's all. So please bless him. That's all I desire. Thank you so much. Do you have some time, Prabhu, for questions?
I can take
okay.
questions.
So, dear devotees, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question, or if you have any realizations.
Before the questions, I would like to thank Her Grace Shamagori Mataji for being a companion today to shoot the arrow right where it is possible. I hope I can follow in your footsteps, Mataji, and shoot to Pandarpur.
Very, very beautiful bhajan, very beautiful Abhanga Prabhuji. It's like, when they go, if you see the video of today's like Ekadashi, it's just like they say, Veda Veda Pandarisi, means they circle around the whole town, everywhere devotees. Veda Veda Pandarisi, and they go right to the darshan. Darshan doesn't even close in the night also. Lord has to stay awake to give darshan because there is so much crowd. And in Pandarpur, you can go directly put your head on lotus feet of the Lord. That's how it is. Like, if you see his feet are like, gone, became flat because everybody's touching, feet.
So
So,
this is the only tradition. The Lord cannot sleep because he has been now captured. A prisoner
captured.
cannot sleep. A prisoner cannot sleep, Mataji. But
Yes,
so is the
yes.
tradition. After capturing the prisoner, we are falling at his feet. It is the reverse actually, but then it doesn't happen. So this is our glorious Vaishnava tradition. How merciful is the Lord. Jai.
Yeah.
Vithovari
Thank you,
Kumai ki jai.
Prabhu.
Yes.
Thank you for
Questions are
taking.
there. Thank
Thank you, Shamagori Mataji. Anybody else have any realization? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, koti koti dandavat pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Thank you Prabhuji for taking us in Shishi Vithala and Rukmani Maharani. Prabhuji, I remember in 2016 we visit Shishi Pandarpura and Manasi मन से आप वहाँ लेके गए and especially in 2007 with Radhanath Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, Jai Pataka Maharaj, Sachidanandan Maharaj, Bibi Govind Maharaj, we visit to Shishi Srirangam Dham, Shishi Tirupati Balaji Dham, Shishi Kanchipuram, Mahabalipuram. Prabhuji, you take us Shishi Tirupati Balaji Dham, Shishi Rameshwaram Dham, Manasi Puja, Prabhuji, you take us in all dham. We have seen that so many Sivlinga is there and so many Sheshnaga and Kartikeya's temple is there, Spatik temple is there. Thank you Prabhuji. मन से आप हम वहाँ यात्रा में लेके गए. Yes, there is so many difficulties because of 18 bus is there, and after that Maharaj is not taking South India Yatra. But the Gopuram 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then we take the darshan. And there is no light, Prabhuji. All the diya is there and we take the darshan. Hari Hari Gauranga, Prabhuji. बहुत आप जब एक्सप्लेन करते हो तो बहुत आत्मीयता होती है. वो बोलते हैं मुर्दे में भी जान आ जाती है. ऐसे आपके क्लास होते हैं प्रभु जी. कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम. शिल
all
प्रभुपाद,
glories to
शिल
Srila
गुरुदेव जी को.
Prabhupada.
एंड प्रभु जी आप इतनी अच्छी तरह सिंग करते थे. मेरी बेटी वो उसकी मीटिंग छोड़ के आ गई है. एंड शी इज हियरिंग. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम टू योर सिंसियर सेवा. प्लीज गिव योर एसोसिएशन रेगुलरली. हरि हरि गौरांगा. थैंक यू
Hare
प्रभु जी.
Krishna.
टेकिंग
All
अस इन द
glories
धाम.
to His Holiness Jai Pataka Maharaj, Sachidanand Maharaj, Loknath Maharaj for taking us to the South India Yatra and
यस प्रभु जी.
visiting these places,
थैंक यू
seeing
प्रभु
these
जी. आप
places,
मन से
glorifying
धाम में.
His. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
And return time Gopuram.
Yeah.
Big Gop. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Hari Gauranga Danvat.
Nitya Narasimha Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. It was such a amazing session, Prabhuji. By sitting at home, you made us to visit all the pilgrimages. Even by visiting there also, we could have not got so much bliss. It was really the way in which you sung.
There should be a special Bhakti Sangha Japa group, Yatra group. And we should go
Yes,
to these
Prabhuji.
places.
It was very nice. Actually, it is not far from Hyderabad, Prabhu. But unfortunately, I have not gone. This time I will go to Pandarpur, definitely. By the mercy of Mataji is also from that place. So I will take her guidance. Prabhuji, I don't have any questions, but the places which you mentioned, like Belgaum, actually I studied engineering in Belgaum only. So these places, but that time I was not Krishna conscious. These places and this Mallikarjuna temple, actually it is Lord Vishnu's name only, Prabhu? Another name of
no, Mallikarjuna is
Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva, yeah.
Okay. And this Sri Shailam, exactly where it is, Prabhu, now currently?
It is in Andhra Pradesh, if I am not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is in Telangana.
No, it's in Telangana, correct.
It is very near to my hometown also, but I have not visited. I will make sure this time I will visit that place.
Yes, please.
So nice.
Please go ahead. There is a big dam of Sri Shailam also. Yes.
Actually, Prabhu, this Panduranga Vithala, this is from which yuga we are worshipping since how long, Prabhu? Means,
Dwapara Yuga is my understanding, because he came for the devotee. So Dwapara Yuga, and he came for Pundalik, right? He's the one who came for this thing. But it can be Kali Yuga also, I need to check. Maybe Shamgori Mataji, would you know?
Actually, for I know, like he came from Dwarka because Rukmini came.
Yes.
Once, yeah.
So for
And
me, it's
Rukmini is the girl from Amravati, which is in Maharashtra. So she just came to her visit her parents, and she does the Pasharya in Dindirvan in near Pandarpur. So that's why Lord comes to take her back and also to please his devotee Pundalika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because he comes with, because Tukaram says, right? Tulsi Hara Gala
Kase Pitambara.
Kase Pitambara. He's wearing Pitambara, he's wearing a Tulsi garland. Makara Kundala. So shark-shaped earrings he has. Delhi Dwarkadish wears that quite a lot. Shark-shaped earrings. So this is Dwapara Yoga as for me.
And how about Lord Ranganatha Prabhuji?
Oh, Lord Ranganatha, he is there from long time. From first he was in Brahmaloka. He was being worshipped by in Brahma. Brahma wanted a deity. He made a beautiful altar. He said, now which deity I should bring? So he went himself to Vaikuntha and he said, I want a deity. And Lord Ranganatha gave with a Vimana and this Vaikuntha Vimana, and then he came and then it was worshipped by Brahma. Then Brahma gave it to Ikshwaku and Ikshwaku started worshipping it. And then there was a saint called as Vijay Dharma or Soma Dharma. He came once to Ayodhya. He saw the place and he said, I want this gift of Ranganath. He said, no, nothing doing. He is our deity. So Ikshwaku kept on giving it to his Aja. Aja's son was Dasharatha. Dasharatha worshipped, and Dasharatha's son Rama worshipped it. And then when Vibhishana came and said, I want the gift for you to be always with me, and please give me these deities of Ranganath. And he said, don't say no, like you said no to Soma Dharma or Vijay Dharma. You give it to me. Then he said, okay, fine. Lord Ramchandra said, no, I will not say no. You have done such a great service to me. So you please take this deity or to Lanka. So Vibhishana carried the deity. But when he came to Srirangam at this Shesha Mandapa, which is next to Kaveri, then because the Soma Dharma and Vijay Dharma was also praying for the Lord to come to southern India, so the Lord resided there. Generally, the Lord resides looking east or west, but here the Lord Ranganath is looking towards Lanka. His lotus feet is towards Lanka, his face is towards Lanka, constantly seeing Vibhishan whether his Lanka is doing good or not. So that is what Srirangam. It was in Ayodhya, it is from Satyuga, and beyond that also many yugas before. It is there. It is not only Satyatra, it is not only for this Kalpa, it has been there before Brahma as well. And these deities came from directly by Vaikuntha. So it is said that if all the places are there, all the divine places and temples are there, if they are like a big tree, one of the main roots is Srirangam. So it is one of the main root of this giant tree of temples. So it is one of the major temple that Nityananda Prabhu visited. And it's also sometimes known as Buloka Vaikuntha, just like Tirupati. It is a Vaikuntha which is there.
And the same deity we are worshipping now also.
Yeah. Same deity we are worshipping now also. Ramanujacharya used to worship this deity, and when they used to take prasadam to this deity and they used to bring it back, he used to tell, stop. He used to open the lid and see the prasadam. He used to say, okay, go. And devotees were like, what is Ramanujacharya doing? When the bhoga is coming, he's looking at the bhoga and saying, go. And why are you saying, tell me, okay, go. What do you want to see in that bhoga? What do you want to see in the prasad? He's saying, I am seeing whether the Lord has dipped his hands and taken a morsel of prasadam and eaten. So I'm seeing whether those finger marks are there in the pongal, in the chutneys, in the idlis, in the dosas, in whatever is there. I want to see whether the finger marks are there. Seems like the Lord has not eaten today. So let's make it much more better next. This is how Ramanujacharya very wonderfully served with the Lord. So he's still there. He's still the same. and he used to worship Ranganath in this fashion.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a really wonderful journey today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I think there is a question in the chat. Why we call Prabhuji Mataji in ISKCON, either we call Guruji or anything, well, why it's important to say Prabhuji and Mataji? So that we keep our senses in check. We have this false ego in us, which we always want to lord over material nature. So we always try to be the master of all living entities, which is why we are here. But by at least saying these, by addressing other devotees as Prabhu, we are calling them the master. That means we are ready to serve. We are ready to let go of our false ego. And as long as the senses are there, we are attracted by the senses or to the opposite sex. So when we call them as mothers, we understand that they are motherly in nature. They are also serving the Lord very nicely. So this is to inculcate the mood. Guru, at the same time, is a different position that we give, which is to instruct us, to personally instruct us. So that is different. So other God brothers, God sisters, Vaishnavas, we can call as Prabhu and Mataji. This is the system. Srila Prabhupada. I hope that answers the question. Okay, another question, the background. This is Sri Devi and Bhudevi. So there are two, the question is, in the background we see two wives of Lord Vishnu. Who are they? One is Lakshmi, Sri Devi, and one is Mother Earth, Bhudevi. Because when she was lifted by Lord Varaha, she became the wife as well. Hope that answers the questions. Any other question?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, explaining beautifully why we are called Prabhujis and Matajis. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Is there any more questions or any comment?
I just wanted to ask Prabhuji to sing those two lines at least, because when you were singing Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
I'm Asha, and I had been to only Guruvayur and Padmanabha Kshetram. I haven't been to anywhere else, but you took me to so many places today. Like I was just thinking that when will I get an opportunity to go to such pilgrimage, but you have really taken me to such beautiful places with so much of detail. So out of Guruvayur and out of Padmanabha Kshetram, this is the first time I'm entering to these Kshetrams. And those two lines, Prabhuji, if you can just sing those first two lines in the rhythm that you sang of Pandarpur, because as soon as you sang that, I converted that same tune into the words of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I wanted to just get the tune back. So if you can, with your with a lot of humility, I'm just with humbleness, I'm asking you that if you can.
Okay. Okay, just a second. Let me just bring the lyrics back.
Okay.
Do you speak Malayalam, Mataji?
Yes, I am from Kerala, Palakkad.
Oh, okay. Very nice. So just like you, Mataji, I was also visiting when I was young, because I'm also from Kerala, ideally. So I used to visit only Guruvayur. Since I'm from Trivandrum, my house is very next to Padmanabha Swami's temple in Trivandrum. My parents still live there. But due to those two mercies of Guruvayur and Padmanabha Swami, I've been able to go everywhere. So don't worry, Mataji, you are right on the track to prepare yourself and pack your bags to go everywhere. So you are, I'm not saying you should follow my footsteps, but those two deities have been very instrumental to me to render service. And so here is the, sorry. Yeah. So I just wanted to sing. Veda Veda Re Pandari, Veda Veda Re Pandari, Veda 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 Re Pandari, Veda Veda Re Pandari, Morchevala, Bhima Tiri, Morchevala, Bhima Tiri, Chala Chala Santa Jana, Chala Santa Jana. This is the tune, Mataji.
Okay,
Sing
because
more,
I just put it to Hare Krishna, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare. So I just converted
Absolutely.
that into this.
Very nice. You can sing
Hare
this.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, please sing 1-2 more Abhanga, please, Prabhu, with all Vaishnava permission, all senior
Oh.
Vaishnavas permission. Abhanga, please. Whatever you want to sing about Vittala.
I do not have anything handy as of now. I'm not. In fact, you are asking very wrong person to sing Abhanga. I will pass this responsibility to one devotee. In fact, you missed the bus. There is one devotee who always speaks in Bhakti Sangha Japa group, and that devotee is the expert in Abhangs, and he spoke today. His Grace Ram Giridhari Prabhu.
Oh,
have been
Jai Ho
his-
Gopinath ki.
Yeah. I have been his neighbor for the last 23 years. We both used to stay next to each other. And I have seen him sing while he used to take me to the temples and everything. So my humble request is that next time he comes, say that Haridas Prabhu had requested, and he will surely sing an abhang for all of you. He is the best singer, Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji, you also best singer. The current is past. You exactly to Krishna Katha like Aji Ram Girdhari Prabhuji.
I've learned from him. So he's my Shiksha Guru as well. So yes, that's the reason. Hare Krishna.
Vinita Mataji, you have a question.
Yeah, Mataji, Vrunda want to speak. Yeah. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Vrinda, very well guessed. I never thought Vrinda will guess Godavari. She guessed it very nicely. Hare Krishna. All glories.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I really liked your class, and I could imagine what you were saying.
You could?
The
Okay.
whole story.
What is that you like the best? Where do you want to go out of all these places, Vrinda?
I want to go to the place where she put the deity in the water. I want to go see the deity.
Oh, the Kaveri. You want to go and see Kaveri? Ah, very nice. We'll go. We'll go one day with Bhakti Sangha Japa group, with Aura, with Anuradha Mataji, with Vinita Mataji. We'll all go together. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Your association is very auspicious and sweet at the same time. You're so involved with us. So very, very grateful. And please continue doing so. It's always wonderful when we get personal, Prabhu. I mean, yeah. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And if there are no more realizations, comment, questions, so with your permission and all Vaishnavas' permission, can we pause for today, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, kindly share the slides if possible.
Yeah. I'll send it to Shamagori Mataji and she can send it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Komodiki Mataji, you have something to say, Mataji?
Mataji has blessings to give. She always gives me blessings. I am here to take Komodiki Mataji's blessings first. Mataji Dandot Pranam, please bless me.
Thank you. Very, very, very beautiful. Very nice class. Nice, informative. And we visited these places, but it was kind of very first time we went in this lifetime, so don't know much about it. But then still, when you describe, it makes some sense to me. Very nicely you have presented. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. And last question here. How can we get out of ego? By constantly hearing Krishna's glories, by constantly chanting Hare Krishna, associating with devotees. When we don't keep ourselves in the front, we keep serving Vaishnavas like Kamodiki Mataji and others, we get out of ego. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Madhuri.
Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Your very first statement was a request to everyone to forget about their personal surroundings and be with you on this journey. So thank you so much for taking us on this beautiful yatra. And also so happy to hear you mention that you are also from Thiruvananthapuram. So very happy to hear that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada. Okay, I think we can
Thank you so
close the
much
class.
once again. So So let us all offer our obeisances. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Caitanya Bhagavat ki
Jai.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki
Jai.
Jai. Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Haridas Varya Jai. Thank you so much once again, dear devotees. And Prabhuji, thank you so much once again. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Hari Bol.
Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam to all.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's class. We'll meet tomorrow. Hari Bol, closing the call for today.